As we embark on our journey of spiritual growth and personal development, it's important to confront the falsehoods that often prevent us from moving forward. These are the myths, the misleading beliefs that keep us trapped in what some call the third dimension. Today, we're going to explore 6 lies propagated by the ego that can obstruct our spiritual awakening. By confronting these ego lies, we make room for spiritual growth and move closer to a more authentic perspective and connection with the divine. Remember that true wisdom lies in questioning and transcending the illusions that prevent us from reaching our full spiritual potential. The ego constantly deceives us by convincing us that our identity is deeply connected to our material possessions. The false idea that our worth as individuals is determined by the amount of wealth we accumulate is an ingrained belief in many societies, leading us to an incessant quest for more. This distorted narrative makes us believe that happiness and success are closely linked to the possession of material goods. We believe that we will be more valuable as human beings if we own luxurious houses, fancy cars, designer clothes, and other items that symbolize status. However, this relentless pursuit of more wealth often leaves us dissatisfied and empty. It's as if we were constantly chasing an illusory mirage. True abundance and satisfaction cannot be found in the accumulation of material possessions, but rather in meaningful experiences, healthy relationships, and spiritual growth. These are the real treasures that enrich our lives and bring us lasting joy. By recognizing that our true worth is not tied to what we own, we can free ourselves from this incessant search for more and pursue a life of true meaning and purpose. Valuing experiences, moments of connection with others, and inner growth allows us to transcend the illusion of the importance of material possessions. It is essential to question this lie perpetuated by the ego and seek a more authentic perspective. In doing so, we can find greater satisfaction and fulfillment in our lives, regardless of what we possess materially. In the spiritual realm, the obsession with materialism contradicts the wisdom of the Tao, an ancient philosophy from China. The Tao guides us to detach ourselves from material goods and view possessions differently. Instead of attributing our value to what we have, we are encouraged to understand that true fulfillment is manifested when we are willing to let go. The Tao invites us to reflect on the transitory nature of material things. For example, imagine a person who has become deeply attached to their material possessions, believing that their identity and happiness depend on them. However, when faced with a situation of loss, such as a natural disaster that destroys all their possessions, they are presented with the opportunity to learn a valuable lesson. By freeing herself from the weight of these possessions, she discovers a sense of freedom and a deeper connection with her inner self. The Tao teaches us that by letting go of material things, we make room for more meaningful experiences and more authentic connections. Instead of endlessly striving to accumulate wealth and possessions, we are invited to value healthy relationships, enriching experiences, and inner growth. These are the real treasures that bring lasting contentment. By adopting the perspective of the Tao, we are able to transcend the illusion that our worth as individuals is linked to material possessions. Instead, we find greater peace of mind by recognizing that the true meaning of life lies in the inner journey, in developing compassion, wisdom, and connection with something greater than ourselves. The incessant search for material goods often diverts our attention from the spiritual path and hinders our inner progress. It is essential to keep in mind that true happiness does not lie in gathering possessions, but in discovering peace and contentment within ourselves. It's as if we were on a journey, searching for a treasure that we believe is outside of us. However, along the way, we realize that the real treasure lies within ourselves, in the connection with our deepest essence. It's as if we're looking in all directions, when in fact the answer is right in front of our eyes. We must free ourselves from the illusion that happiness is linked to the possession of material goods. Instead, we should direct our attention to cultivating a peaceful and balanced state of mind. By doing so, we will be able to experience true happiness, regardless of external circumstances. By adopting a perspective that is more in line with the teaching of the Tao, we can begin to value experiences, relationships, and spiritual growth more, rather than endlessly searching for more material things. This change of mindset allows us to find greater balance and well-being on our spiritual journey. The practice of financial moderation and the search for simplicity remind us of the famous words, "Do nothing and leave nothing unfinished." This reminder reveals that by adopting a state of detachment, we can truly reach deeper levels of satisfaction and spiritual growth. In practice, this means directing our attention no longer to the unbridled pursuit of material goods, but to the cultivation of quality and virtues. Although material comfort has its place in our lives, it shouldn't be the only indicator of our personal value. By moving away from the mentality of excessive accumulation, we make room for valuing what really matters: the quality of our actions, the integrity of our relationships, and the development of our inner essence. In doing so, we find a balance between material comfort and spiritual growth, recognizing that our true worth lies in the way we live our lives and connect with the world around us. By freeing ourselves from excessive attachment to material possessions, we make room for valuing more meaningful aspects of life. This allows us to appreciate experiences, relationships, and spiritual development as sources of true fulfillment. By focusing on quality rather than quantity, we are able to cultivate virtues such as generosity, compassion, and gratitude, which are fundamental to our inner growth and our connection with the world around us. In the pursuit of our happiness and transcending the ego's false narrative about materialism, we can walk the path of spiritual awakening, which leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our connection with the world around us. The second deception perpetuated by the ego revolves around the obsession with success. Achievements play an increasingly important role in our contemporary society, which often associates success with career milestones, social standing, and material acquisitions. However, this mentality leads us to an incessant search for more, leaving us unsatisfied and disconnected from our true essence. It's important to remember that true success is not linked to what we possess externally, but rather to our personal growth, our contribution to the world, and our ability to live in harmony with our values and life purpose. By transcending the illusion of the unbridled search for external success, we have the opportunity to reconnect with our true essence and find a deeper sense of fulfillment. This involves valuing aspects such as meaningful relationships, emotional well-being, and contributing to the common good. By cultivating a spiritual growth mindset, we can find a healthy balance between our personal aspirations and our connection to something greater than ourselves. This allows us to live according to our values and experience a lasting sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in our life journey. Material possessions have consequences that are reflected in various areas of our lives, including our educational systems, career paths, and interpersonal relationships. They exert constant pressure on individuals, driving them to continually strive for progress, accumulate more wealth, and seek external validation. From an early age, children are conditioned to believe that their grades, rewards, and achievements are the main indicators of success. This mindset of relentless pursuit of material achievements ends up shaping their perspectives and priorities throughout their lives. In education systems, the excessive emphasis on grades and competition leads to an environment of constant pressure, where authentic learning and personal development are often neglected. Students are encouraged to excel in exams and standardized assessments instead of cultivating creative skills, critical thinking, and empathy. In the professional world, the relentless pursuit of more wealth and status often results in an imbalance between work and personal life. People feel compelled to work long hours, sacrifice their health and well-being in the name of material success. This mentality can also lead to superficial relationships and a lack of emotional connection, since interactions are influenced by the pursuit of status and financial gain. It's important to question this paradigm and seek a healthy balance between material needs and more meaningful aspects of life. We should value holistic education, which promotes the integral development of individuals, and seek satisfaction and fulfillment in authentic experiences and relationships, rather than just in the accumulation of material goods. By freeing ourselves from the mindset of incessant pursuit of material possessions, we can find a greater sense of purpose, interpersonal connection, and emotional well-being. We must remember that our true wealth lies in the quality of our relationships and the contribution we make to the world, rather than just the quantity of possessions we own. We often define our value in this paradigm where external success is what determines our personal growth. This creates a continuous cycle of striving for achievement, sometimes making us forget the intrinsic value of the journey itself. Our CVs and professional achievements often outweigh the blossoming of our inner soul and the exploration of our true passions. As a result, many find themselves in an endless search for external recognition, always seeking validation from others. This mentality leads us to prioritize what is visible in the eyes of others, instead of connecting with our essence and finding satisfaction in our own journey. We place excessive emphasis on titles, promotions, and material achievements, while neglecting our emotional health and inner well-being. It's important to remember that true personal growth goes beyond external achievements. We must seek inner satisfaction and the fulfillment of our most authentic passions. This involves exploring our unique interests, values, and talents, rather than conforming to the expectations imposed by society. By finding a balance between external success and inner flourishing, we can discover a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. We should value the journey itself and the lessons learned along the way, rather than fixating only on the end results. The next promotion, a higher salary or a prestigious title, are often seen as desirable goals. However, the Tao invites us to shift our attention from the external to the internal. This perspective encourages us to recognize that our true value goes beyond material and accolades. It suggests that true fulfillment is not only found in external achievements, but also in the quality of our inner life, alignment with our core values, and connection with our deepest self. Instead of focusing exclusively on external goals, the Tao invites us to pursue a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. This means looking inside ourselves, exploring our authentic desires and passions, and cultivating a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives. When we align ourselves with our core values, we feel more authentic and satisfied. Instead of constantly seeking external validation, we learn to trust our own intuition and make decisions that are in line with who we really are. This change in perspective helps us find a healthy balance between external success and inner well-being. It's not just about achieving goals and accomplishments, but also about finding inner harmony and peace. By nurturing our inner life and connecting with our true passions, we experience a deeper sense of fulfillment and contentment. One of the most persistent illusions that traps us in the third dimension is the incessant search for external recognition and satisfaction through material achievements. This mentality keeps us trapped in a vicious cycle of seeking validation and prevents us from truly connecting with our deepest essence and purpose. The true path to self-fulfillment involves looking inward and recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment come from aligning our actions and aspirations with our authentic values and passions. This means seeking a balance between external success and inner growth, valuing both achievements in the world and the journey of self-discovery. The ego's incessant search for external validation is a devouring drive that pushes us to constantly seek approval, judgments, and admiration from others, often to the detriment of our authenticity and spiritual progress. It seems that the ego convinces us that our very existence depends on the applause and opinions of those around us. However, there are transformative perspectives offered by the Tao and spiritual wisdom. The Tao invites us to pause and shift our focus from seeking external validation to a journey of self-knowledge and spiritual growth. It reminds us that our true essence goes beyond the opinions and approvals of others. By aligning ourselves with the Tao, we can find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment, regardless of external opinions. Spiritual wisdom teaches us that true progress is not measured by external achievements or the recognition of others, but by our inner connection and the development of our spirituality. By connecting with our true essence, we are able to transcend the need for external validation and find lasting inner peace. It is important to remember that the spiritual path is not a quest for external applause, but rather a journey of self-exploration and self-transformation. By freeing ourselves from the bonds of the ego and embracing the wisdom of the Tao, we can find true fulfillment and spiritual progress. Breaking out of this incessant cycle of seeking validation is essential, recognizing that what others think of us doesn't define us. This awareness frees us from the domination of external opinions, dismantling the ego's control over our lives. By renouncing the need for external validation, we embark on the path of true self-acceptance and establish a deeper connection with our inner self. The constant search for external validation is an unsustainable pattern that prevents us from truly knowing ourselves. When we place our value and self-esteem in the hands of others, we are trapped in an endless cycle of seeking external approval. However, when we begin to see that true validation comes from within ourselves, we can begin to free ourselves from this limiting mentality. It's important to remember that true self-acceptance is not based on how others see us, but on how we see and value ourselves. By letting go of other people's opinions, we can focus on cultivating a healthy and loving relationship with our inner self. This allows us to develop genuine self-confidence and a deep connection with our essence. By abandoning the incessant search for external validation, we make room for personal growth and authenticity. We can focus on our values, passions, and life purpose, rather than seeking the approval of others. This path leads us to a true sense of fulfillment, as we are living according to our own truth and not seeking external validation. We often find ourselves trapped in an endless cycle of dissatisfaction, fueled by the incessant need for approval. This constant desire for approval can lead to anxiety, stress, and a lasting feeling of inadequacy. However, by detaching ourselves from the opinions of others, we can free ourselves from this self-created prison. By distancing ourselves from the opinions of others, we make room for a higher state of consciousness. We transcend the limitations of the third dimension and free ourselves from the clutches of the ego. Through this deeper spiritual awakening, we become more aware of our true essence and the purpose of our existence. By freeing ourselves from the yoke of external approval, we can connect with our authenticity and find deeper meaning in our lives. We understand that true fulfillment and satisfaction do not depend on the opinions of others, but on our own acceptance and self-knowledge. As we move away from the cycle of seeking external approval, we cultivate greater confidence and self-love. We recognize that we are unique beings with our own abilities, talents, and values. This awareness allows us to live according to our inner truth, rather than molding ourselves to fit the expectations of others. Awareness of the importance of cultivating inner peace and authenticity leads to greater spiritual flourishing. However, another major obstacle on the path to spiritual awakening is the false belief in our separateness from others. This illusion, perpetuated by the ego, teaches us to compete with each other and seek to be the best. This discourse is deeply rooted in modern society, causing rivalries and divisions not only in sport, but also in our lives. It is essential to understand that, despite external differences, we are all interconnected and part of a greater whole. Our true essence is one of unity and cooperation, not competition and superiority. By recognizing this deep connection with others, we can transcend the mentality of rivalry and seek collaboration and harmony. Incessant competition and the quest to be the best can lead to a toxic environment where individualism and the quest for power prevail. This not only damages interpersonal relationships, but also limits our own spiritual growth. By freeing ourselves from this illusion of separation and adopting a mindset of cooperation, we create a space for love, compassion, and peace to flourish. It's important to remember that spiritual awakening involves transcending divisions and recognizing our interconnectedness with all beings. By abandoning the mentality of competition and rivalry, we make room for collaboration and unity. In this way, we can cultivate healthier relationships and build a society based on values of respect, understanding, and empathy. In everyday life, the wisdom of the Tao reminds us of the interconnectedness of all beings. Instead of focusing on the ego's narrative of division, the Tao highlights that we are woven from the same cosmic tapestry, as a single entity. This perspective encourages us to transcend the ego's competitive mentality and embrace unity, compassion, and cooperation. Recognizing the illusion of separateness implies acknowledging that our well-being is intimately linked to the well-being of all other beings. By understanding that we are all interconnected, we can cultivate more harmonious relationships and act for mutual benefit. Instead of seeking only individual success, we can adopt a more collaborative approach, where collective growth and happiness are valued. This leads us to act with compassion and seek solutions that benefit everyone, rather than just ourselves. By embracing unity and cooperation, we create an environment conducive to personal and collective flourishing. We recognize that each individual has unique and valuable gifts, and that together we can achieve more significant results. However, it is worth remembering that practicing unity and cooperation requires constant effort. We need to overcome ego conditioning and the competitive mentality that society has instilled in us. By becoming aware of this illusion of separateness and reconnecting with our true interconnected nature, we can cultivate healthier relationships, create more harmonious communities, and contribute to a more peaceful and loving world. Awareness of interconnectedness with others leads us to transcend the state of mind of me against the world, to a state of shared responsibility. This transformation allows us to develop a deeper sense of empathy and compassion, essential qualities in our journey towards spiritual enlightenment. The ego makes us believe that we are somehow disconnected from those we lack in our lives. This false idea keeps us trapped in an endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. It's important to understand that we are all interconnected, that the happiness and well-being of others also affects our own happiness and well-being. By recognizing this interdependence, we can cultivate a sense of shared responsibility towards others, seeking not only our own benefit, but also the collective benefit. This change in perspective allows us to break out of the cycle of desire and dissatisfaction, because we understand that true satisfaction does not lie in seeking selfish satisfaction, but rather in nurturing healthy relationships and contributing to everyone's well-being. As we develop empathy and compassion, we are able to see beyond appearances and understand the struggles and needs of others. This enables us to offer support and help when needed, strengthening bonds of solidarity and promoting a sense of unity and harmony. As well as pursuing external desires, convinced that they hold the key to our success, the wisdom of the Tao and spiritual knowledge offer us a refreshing perspective that encourages us to free ourselves from this illusion. The Tao teaches us that divinity is present everywhere, including within ourselves and in what we perceive as false. We can thus align ourselves with this universal presence and allow what we desire to manifest. Instead of focusing solely on acquiring material things, we are invited to turn inwards and seek a deeper connection with the universe. It is in this connection that we find true plenitude and fulfillment. The incessant search for external acquisitions often leads us into an endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. However, when we open ourselves to the wisdom of the Tao, we realize that true happiness lies not in the things we possess, but in our connection with the whole. By aligning ourselves with the natural flow of the universe and freeing ourselves from the bonds of the ego, we find a state of serene contentment. In this state, we are able to appreciate what we already have and allow what is truly important to manifest in our lives. The spiritual quest leads us to recognize that the true treasure lies within us, and that our journey is a constant evolution towards understanding our true nature. When we align ourselves internally, we are able to recognize our innate ability to fulfill our desires. Through this connection, we achieve a spiritually awakened life, liberated from the incessant search for external ego-driven desires. One of the deepest and most damaging illusions propagated by the ego is the belief that we are separate from God or the divine. This erroneous notion promotes disconnection from our spiritual essence and perpetuates a feeling of spiritual alienation. It's as if we were wandering in a spiritual desert, looking for something external to fill the void inside us. However, the truth is that the fullness we seek is already present in our being. We just need to awaken to this reality. By turning inwards, we reconnect with our true nature and with the divine presence that dwells within us. This reconnection brings us a sense of fulfillment and enables us to manifest our desires in an authentic way that is aligned with our essence. When we realize that we are an integral part of the whole, we free ourselves from the illusion of separation and embrace interconnectedness with the divine and with all beings. This awareness guides us towards a more meaningful life, where our actions are motivated by love and compassion. The ego made us blind to the profound truth that our fundamental essence is intrinsically divine. In many spiritual and religious traditions, the belief in separation from the divine is a central theme. For example, in Christianity, the concept of original sin implies a separation from God that can only be reconciled through faith and redemption. These erroneous beliefs feed the illusion that we are separate beings, disconnected from divinity and from each other. However, the truth is that we are all interconnected, part of a greater whole. By awakening to our divine nature, we transcend the illusion of separation and reconnect with the universal essence. This awareness leads us to a fuller life, based on love, compassion, and unity. When we realize that we are all unique expressions of the same divine source, we are able to overcome the ego and its traps. We can leave behind the incessant quest for power, status, and material acquisitions, and focus on finding a deeper connection with the divine within us and in everything around us. The divine nature inherent in each individual is innate and indestructible. Our journey towards self-realization begins when we move from separation to unity, from the external to the internal. Faced with this profound awareness, we realize that we are infinite, interconnected, and divine. This can profoundly shape our way of looking at life, purpose, and spiritual awakening. When we align ourselves with our divine nature, we are able to access an inner wisdom and a deep peace that transcends the limitations of the ego. This connection allows us to live a more authentic life, centered on love, compassion, and harmony with the universe. As we go deeper into our spiritual journey, we discover that we are part of something bigger. We are not isolated, but interconnected with all beings and with the very essence of the universe. This awareness guides us to act with kindness, respect, and understanding towards ourselves and others. So, if you felt an inner calling while watching this video, allow yourself to explore and cultivate your connection with the divine. This journey of spiritual awakening can bring about a profound transformation in your life, paving the way for greater fullness, purpose, and harmony in all aspects of your being. If you've made it this far and are ready to transform your life and attract positive vibrations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join our community of dream co-creators. Leave a like if you feel the tips and insights were inspiring. Every like is another step towards spreading positive energy. Share this video with friends, family, and everyone who is ready to manifest their desires. Together, we can create a powerful chain of positivity. Join us on this incredible journey of personal transformation. Remember, what you give out, you get. Let's attract together the best that life has to offer. See you next time.